The units of the 425th Separate Assault Regiment, Skala, managed to capture 32 Russian servicemen in a week. This was reported by the regiment's official Telegram page. According to the regiment, the prisoners were Russian soldiers who were preparing to conduct assault operations on the positions of Ukrainian defenders. When asked why they went to fight against Ukraine, each of them began to make up their own excuses, telling about the poor attitude of their commanders and that they had been deceived and ignorantly sent to the front. Despite these explanations, the captured Russian soldiers have now become those who will potentially replenish the exchange fund and allow for the exchange of Ukrainian defenders in the future. It should be noted that as of today, the 425th Separate Assault Regiment, Skala, is operating in the Kharkiv region, where it is destroying Russian invaders who are trying to seize Ukrainian territory. In addition, recently, the soldiers of the 425th Separate Assault Regiment, Skala, conducted assault operations near the village of Milov in the Kharkiv region. In order to effectively destroy the enemy, the infantry, which was clearing certain areas, was actively supported by FPV drones. Thus, drone operators recorded about 10 eliminated invaders who did not even suspect that they were being hunted. At the same time, the infantry was clearing the northern side of the occupied Milov. It should be noted that the Ukrainian Defense Forces are currently conducting active combat operations in the area of this settlement. Thanks to these actions, they managed to eliminate the commander of the 83rd Motorized Rifle Regiment in the Velikoburlutsk sector. Colonel Lebedev, who was in command of the assault operations in this area, was eliminated. The 83rd Regiment is part of the 69th Guards Motor Rifle Division of the Russian Army. Ukrainian operators from the 414th Separate UAV Brigade, Magyar Birds, demonstrated how they counter Russian quadcopters and ground robotic systems, recently downing an enemy reconnaissance drone and disabling 2 Russian ground robots used for logistics. The 414th Separate UAV Brigade, known as the Magyar Birds, is one of Ukraine's most innovative and battle-proven drone units. Formed around the legendary commander with the call sign Magyar, the brigade evolved from a volunteer drone team into a fully fledged military formation specializing in reconnaissance, precision strikes, and aerial support for frontline troops. Operating a wide range of unmanned systems, from small quadcopters for spotting enemy positions to long-range strike drones, the Magyar Birds have played a critical role in identifying targets, adjusting artillery fire, and delivering explosive payloads deep into enemy-held territory. Their tactics focus on flexibility and surprise, often deploying drones in swarms or using decoys to overwhelm Russian air defenses. The unit has been active across multiple fronts, including some of the most contested areas of Donbass, where their intelligence and strike capabilities have saved Ukrainian lives and inflicted heavy damage on Russian forces. In Ukraine's modern warfare strategy, the Magyar Birds are a prime example of how technology, ingenuity, and battlefield experience can outmatch traditional firepower. Their motto is simple but telling: "We see everything." A Russian occupier appeared to be recording a video for his girlfriend before heading out on a combat mission, but things suddenly went wrong.
Все, Катюшка, попёр ему, короче, такие дела.
Ukrainian drone operators and artillery of the defense forces continue to strike at Russian logistics.
Вот коробочка и орудие сгорело, пипивишками ударило, сперва начало гореть, потом прямое попадание арта прилетело минут через 10 прям в шишигу. Вообще жестко.
Ukrainian strike drones from the 4-post brigade continue to destroy Russian positions, equipment, and personnel on the Vovchansk axis in Kharkiv region. Recent footage from the State Border Guard Service shows hits on enemy bunkers, vehicles, and troops. The Ukrainian 4-Post Brigade is a specialized reconnaissance and strike unit that uses advanced drones and surveillance systems to locate enemy positions, adjust artillery fire, and conduct precision attacks. Operating along multiple frontline sectors, the brigade plays a crucial role in giving Ukrainian forces real-time intelligence and hitting high-value Russian targets with speed and accuracy. Ask ChatGPT. Trump said Armenia and Azerbaijan fought for 35 years, but are now friends and will remain so. He credited Steve Witkoff for his role, calling him a Henry Kissinger who doesn't leak. Congratulations to the great geostrategist Putin. This is an outstanding event, and I wish peace and prosperity to the people of Azerbaijan and Armenia. It must be noted that peace was reached without Russia, and that means that the post-Soviet space is no longer Putin's field of influence. Let peace be stable and lasting, and may Russia not be able to prevent people from living their lives.
It's a long time, 35 years. They fought, and now they're friends. And then, of course, you would say Steve was quite influential. I call him Henry Kissinger who doesn't leak. And Azerbaijan are committing to stop all fighting forever, open up commerce, travel, and diplomatic relations, and respect each other's sovereignty and territorial integrity. We're also lifting restrictions on defense cooperation between Azerbaijan and the United States of America. The president, but they probably will. I think I think you two are going to have a great relationship. I have no doubt. And if you don't, call me and I'll straighten it out. Okay. Just about every fire, and we're working on another one that you're reporting on very strongly with Russia, Ukraine, and we'll have some more information for you a little bit later.
President Donald Trump has directed the Pentagon to prepare options for the possible use of U.S. military force against drug cartels designated as terrorist organizations, two U.S. officials confirmed to ABC News on Friday. One official said that any possible use of U.S. military assets is not imminent. It remains unclear exactly what the authorization will allow, and what military operations would be considered as potential options that the U.S. military has been authorized to prepare. There are sure to be questions about the legality of such operations. The New York Times was first to report that Trump had signed a directive ordering the Pentagon to prepare military options against the cartels. The Pentagon referred all questions to the White House. Asked for comment, White House spokesperson Anna Kelly told ABC News that President Trump's top priority is protecting the homeland, which is why he took the bold step to designate several cartels and gangs as foreign terrorist organizations. President Trump was pressed by a reporter on Friday if he would send U.S. forces to Latin America to take on the cartels. Well, Latin America's got a lot of cartels and they've got a lot of drugs flowing. So, we want to protect our country. We have to protect our country. We haven't been doing it for 4 years. And we love this country like they love their countries. We have to protect our country, Trump said. So, we're playing a tough game. But we'll have more to say about that soon, he added. Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum on Friday dismissed the idea of the U.S. military targeting drug cartels in Mexican territory. The United States is not going to come to Mexico with the military. We cooperate, we coordinate, but there won't be an invasion. That is ruled out, Sheinbaum said, when responding to a question on reports about Trump directing the military to prepare military options against the cartels. In February, the Trump administration designated Tren de Aragua, the Sinaloa cartel, MS-13, and other drug cartels as global terrorist organizations following an executive order signed by Trump in January. Appearing on EWTN on Thursday, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that designation allows the administration to use various means against the cartels, which he described as being armed like terrorists or armies that control territory. I don't know if it's changed their behavior yet, but their behavior is going to have to change one way or another, Rubio said in an interview when asked if the terrorist designation had changed the cartel's behavior. but it allows us to now target what they're operating and to use other elements of American power, intelligence agencies, the Department of Defense, whatever, to target these groups if we have an opportunity to do it. We have to start treating them as armed terrorist organizations, not simply drug-dealing organizations, Rubio continued. Drug dealing is the kind of terrorism they're doing. The State Department's Foreign Terrorist Organization designation does not authorize military force, according to some experts. On the law, FTO designation, by itself, does not constitute an authorization to use force, despite some confusion to the contrary, including within the U.S. government. Brian Finucane, who was attorney advisor at the State Department from 2011 to 2021, told ABC News. "You would need some other authority," he said, "under executive power, or via congressional authorization." The details of Trump's order were not immediately clear, but it's all fairly legally fraught, Finucane said, under the laws that govern the military justice system, domestic statutes, and international law. Hegseth in January fired the top military lawyers for each of the Army, Navy, and Air Force. "I think you're going to have military lawyers that are going to be nervous," said retired Lieutenant Colonel Rachel Van Landingham, a former judge advocate in the U.S. Air Force. "They also don't have the top cover, because anyone that wouldn't be a yes man or yes woman has been terminated," she said.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comments section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.